Hey everyone, this is Rabbitearsblog, and welcome to my top 10 most anticipated movies for 2020. But before I get into this, here's a couple words from this channel. Hey guys, if you want to check out more content from this channel, then tune in every Sunday and Monday for new videos. And if you happen to see any videos posted up during the week, that means that there was a bit of movie and TV news that I wanted to talk about, so those will be considered special videos. And if you want to chat with me on social media or see when new videos are being released, then follow me through Twitter and Facebook. And also, please feel free to join the new Facebook group, Rabbitearsblog Reviews 2.0, where we talk about movies, TV shows, and video games with other fans of the genres. And now, we return to our regularly scheduled program. So I was actually surprised that 2019 was a pretty good year for films. There were films that broke box office records, and there were films that did something new with the genre, which I really enjoy. So I'm really looking forward to 2020 and seeing what kind of films are being offered this year and see if they can beat out 2019's films. I always enjoy doing these types of most anticipated movies lists because I like to see what kind of movies are going to disappoint me and which movies are going to excite me. And I'm hoping it's not the movies that's going to disappoint me. So, without much further ado, here are my top 10 most anticipated films for 2020. So, Underwater is a movie about a group of explorers who are trying to get out of the ocean, but once they try to get out of the ocean, they discover that there might be a monster underneath the ocean that they're trying to escape. Now, normally I don't put a lot of horror movies on my most anticipated films list, and this may seem like the cliche monster in the deep horror story that you usually see in a lot of horror movies, but the premise of this film really interests me, and it sounds like it's going to be like something like Aliens Underwater, where the crew are trying to figure out what kind of monster is after them while being in a claustrophobic area in the ocean. And I'm really interested to see where this movie is going to take the monster in the deep horror genre to, and how well the actors and the actresses are going to react to this claustrophobic setting of the movie. Godzilla vs. Kong. So of course we all saw this happening, that Godzilla was eventually going to fight off against King Kong like he did in the previous movies. I am a bit interested to see how Godzilla is going to beat King Kong in this movie, or if King Kong is going to be the one who's going to be the king of the monsters in this movie. I saw Godzilla King of the Monsters, and while I thought that the action sequences were very well done, I felt like the story was a little flat because I didn't really care much about any of the characters in this movie. But if you want to see a full-on review about Godzilla King of the Monsters, then I will do a review of that down the line sometime. But I'm still interested in checking out Godzilla vs. Kong because I want to see which one of these monsters is going to win the day. Is it going to be Godzilla or is it going to be King Kong? I guess we'll have to wait and see. So for those of you who have seen the original Mulan movie, you probably already know the story of this film. It's basically about a young girl who takes her father's place in the army, and she ends up training in the army while they fight against the Hun army. And that's pretty much the story of Mulan. Now, I haven't been the biggest fan of Disney making live action remakes of all their older animated movies, but I am a bit interested in this Mulan movie because I felt like Mulan is one of those characters that can best translate to live action format, and I am interested in seeing how this movie is going to play out despite the controversy surrounding this movie. So Morbius is a film about a man named Michael Morbius who's trying to cure himself of this rare blood disease, but he ends up infecting himself with a vampire serum instead, and he ends up turning into a vampire. Now, the reason why I'm interested in checking out Morbius is because 1, I'm a huge fan of vampire fiction, and 2, this is based off a Marvel character from the comics. Now, I will admit that I never read any of the Morbius comics, so I don't know much about the character, but I am interested in seeing how Sony's going to handle this character and see how he's going to play into the Marvel universe as a whole. So this movie is about 5 mutants who are being held in a facility, and they're trying to find their way out of the facility while discovering their powers at the same time. I know, I mentioned this film a lot of times in my other most anticipated films list, and this film keeps getting pushed back for some reason. Like, originally it was supposed to be released in 2017, and then 2018, and then 2019, but it keeps getting pushed back and back. And part of the reason is because of the Disney Fox deal that was going on during that time, so that's why the film was being pushed back a lot. But I'm still interested in checking out this film because it's an X-Men film, and I'm a huge X-Men fan. Now, despite the fact that Dark Phoenix was one of the most disappointing movies of last year, I'm still interested in checking out New Mutants because we haven't seen the New Mutants on screen before, and I like to see how this movie is going to tackle these characters. Not to mention, this movie is like a horror setting, which is really interesting for the X-Men franchise, since the franchise is well known for being a sci-fi action series. So I am interested in seeing how they're going to play the horror angle with this movie. So this movie features our favorite Blue Blur in his first theatrical film, and it's basically him meeting up with a cop in a rural town, and he tries to help Sonic escape from the government, as well as escape from Dr. Robotnik when the government recruits Dr. Robotnik to capture Sonic. Now, this film was originally set to be released in 2019, but there was some problems with the character design, which I'll go into depth with later, and they ended up pushing the movie back to 2020. Now, I actually featured this movie on my list for 2019 most anticipated movies list, and it was at the bottom of the barrel for that list because I was like, I didn't like the design of the character, so why should I care about this character if I don't like the design? But Paramount heard the complaints of the design of the character, and they changed Sonic's design to make him more closely related to his video game counterpart, and it actually worked out, and I'm actually more excited than ever to check out this movie. The fact that this movie started off as the bottom of the barrel for my most anticipated movies list to going up to my top 5 most anticipated movies list was a sight to behold. Even though I'm still a little iffy about the plot, I'm more excited than ever to check out this movie, especially since I'm a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. So the Eternals is basically about a group of people who are immortal, and they've been living on Earth for thousands of years and have shaped Earth's history over the years. Now, I'm really interested in this movie because even though I don't know anything about the Eternals as characters, I am still interested in checking out this movie because it's a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I never thought that I would be interested in these characters until I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, and I saw how Marvel was able to turn some unknown comic book characters into one of the most well-beloved movie franchises of all time. So of course, I have a lot of hope that Eternals would be like Guardians of the Galaxy and be one of the most beloved film franchises of all time, and I just can't wait to see this movie when it releases. After Harley Quinn breaks up with the Joker and Suicide Squad, she joins a group of ladies called the Birds of Prey as they go out and save a young girl from a crime lord. Now, I have a confession to make. I haven't seen Suicide Squad yet, so I don't know much about these characters, but the real reason why I'm looking forward to this movie is because of Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is like one of my all-time favorite characters from DC Comics, and I am looking forward to seeing this movie and see how they portray Harley Quinn in this movie. Also, I heard that the best part of Suicide Squad was Harley Quinn herself and how Margot Robbie portrayed the character. So I am excited to see how Margot Robbie's going to portray Harley Quinn's character in this movie and see how Harley Quinn is able to interact with the other Birds of Prey members in this movie. So this movie takes place between Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War, and it has Natasha Romanoff going back to Russia to confront her past and deal with her quests in the meantime. Now, I have a confession to make. I always felt like Black Widow wasn't being portrayed right in the Marvel movies. Like, she seems to be a background character for the most part, and we don't know much about her character other than she had a traumatic past. But I'm hoping that this movie gives Black Widow more depth to her personality and to her character, and it seems like she has a family that's going to shape up her character very well, so I am looking forward to seeing what a Black Widow movie will be like with Natasha being the only character in the movie, and seeing her interactions with her family in Russia. So of course my number one movie on this list, it has to be Wonder Woman 1984. And basically this film takes place in 1984, and we have Wonder Woman fighting against Maxwell Lord, as well as meeting up with Steve Trevor, who was pronounced dead in the first movie. So Wonder Woman is trying to reinstate her feelings for Steve Trevor in this movie, as well as fighting off against Maxwell Lord. So you can tell at this point that I'm a huge superhero fanatic. I love superhero movies, and every time I do these anticipated movies lists, there's always a superhero movie that pops up on this list. So, of course, I'm the most excited for Wonder Woman 1984 because I love the first movie. I always felt like Wonder Woman was like the perfect movie that starred a female protagonist who is so relatable to the audience, as well as being a strong protagonist for the film. So with this movie, I'm hoping that lightning strikes twice and we have a heartwarming as well as an action-packed story featuring Wonder Woman and see what her relationship with Steve Trevor will be like after he just got resurrected, and then seeing what kind of new villains she fights against in this movie. Speaking of lightning strikes twice, there was this fantastic sequence in the trailer where Wonder Woman grabs a thunderbolt with her lasso, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that scene pop up in the movie again. Well, that's my top 10 most anticipated movies for 2020. And let me know in the comments down below, what are your most anticipated movies in 2020? And what are some movies that I didn't mention on this list that you felt like I could have mentioned on this list? Please feel free to comment below. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you guys later.